What are the dog trainer's responsibilities? What is a typical day for a dog trainer?
Okay, it depends exactly what you're doing. If you're doing group classes and you say you have a facility to you do your group classes in, obviously you want to make sure that everything in that facility is ready for that day. Cleanliness, 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 very key because you want to make sure no germs are being exchanged. So you want to make sure all your paperwork for any dogs coming in for that those classes are up to date. Vaccinations need to be up to date, and your files need to be, put in order. Not only for the success of your business, but your accounting information. So you want to make sure all your paperwork for the day is up. If there's clients you need to call back, you never want a client to wait more than a day or two to call them back. If they're inquiring about taking classes with you or if they have a problem, you really want to get back to that immediately as well. And then there's always research. You're always, always, always learning when doing this. You might have a new client. He's got a situation where you're like, oh, I've never come across that before. So you go back to your curriculum, see what you've got there, read online, or if, we all continue to read additional authors, and sometimes you reference back to them. So I think those are typical. And then your class. If you're teaching 2 to 3 hours a day, you need to be prepared to be able to talk 2 to 3 hours a day and have the energy, the stamina. So you better be eating well, sleeping well, and exercising well in order to maintain. So.
How many dogs do you train a day? Or how many dog training classes do you hold a day?
Well, again, if your class is an hour long and you take a break in between each class so that you can get ready for the next one, you easily could train 6 hours a day. If you have the clientele to be able to put enough students in those clients, I should say, in those classes throughout the day. Or if you train just at night, it's your second job. You could train, you set your classes at different locations. You can train every night during the week from, say 6 to 7. You do some in the park, you do some at the local vet, you do some at your local pet supply store. So it's really, you could train hundreds of dogs because if you have a class of 10 and you can do 6 a day, we'll say, you could do 60 dogs a day.
Which dogs need the most training? What dog breeds do you mostly train?
Oh gosh, that varies. That really just varies. It depends on your population in your area. Here we have a lot of pitty mixes, sweet ones, and it really just depends. I've trained a lot of labs. I've trained a lot, and since I do mostly privates now. People come to me because their puppies are out of control usually, and they need assistance in what to do with this husky who is tearing their house apart, or a lab who just will not stop, nonstop, all day long, nonstop. So it just varies. Depends on the areas.
What do you love most about being a dog trainer?
I love seeing my clients succeed. And it's not just the dogs, because I could train the dog, but I like it when I have the ability to work with a client and see them train their dog and the success they get from that. And sometimes it doesn't happen overnight, and I love it when they are consistent enough and persistent. They don't want to give up on this dog. They know it's going to take time. And they put that time and effort into it. And it's not a lot of time and effort on their part. It's just consistent time and effort. And it's how you live with them. It's now a way of life. You ask the dog to do something for everything. And then dog quickly learns, I have to behave in order to get affection. I have to behave in order to get my dinner or whatever. So I like that.
What advice would you give to someone interested in pursuing a career as a dog trainer?
Oh, definitely attend a school. I think it is the most important thing. Attend as many conferences as you can, or continuing education situations, hearing different training techniques. Dog training is not black and white in my book. There's a lot of gray area because every dog is different, every human is different, every combination is different, every household is different. You could take a brother and a sister and put them in 2 totally different households and they're going to react so totally different, just like humans. So I think, you're continuously learning and exposing yourself to different situations, different circumstances, and just gaining as much knowledge as you can.
Why should someone take ABC's dog training certification program?
I think I think our program gives students, combination of students and clients here, gives students the ability to not only understand everything through the bookwork, but the ever so important hands-on training. You can read, you can read, you can read, you can read, but until you actually put that into action, so many of us, and I'm speaking for myself, but all my team, we're all hands-on people. We can read it and it makes sense, but until we do it, that's when it, clicks in. And I think that is the way so many trainers are. There's a whole scientific end of it, which is good and we understand it, but then we start to put it into action and it really, really, you're like, oh, the light bulb goes off. Yes. Yeah, so I think the hands-on training part of it, the fact that we have a very comprehensive final exam, it encompasses all 9 stages of learning, the book work as well as your hands-on training. So we really test you to make sure you understand, not only your basic cues, but your problem solving, and you understand the background of learning theory.